a new matter anyhow.
Okay, but how central is it? How central is it wearing a niqab or a burqa to being a Muslim woman?
Let me...
I'm just trying to get you to answer the question.
Yeah, but not in the way, again. We are using either my way or the highway. We can't do that. We, as Australians, I would say, come together in some values. And one of the values we come to accept each other as we are. We don't have to be following the tail of Europe. We are so far from Europe anyhow. Even if some of us, their ancestors are European, but we are not European anymore. We are Australians, and we have our identity, and we should build our country according to that identity.
So is it okay for
French or to
so is it okay though
else?
for, forget about the ban for a moment, is it okay for Muslim women to wear whatever they like?
Of course, it is their choice, and they should answer that, not me. But Islamically, there is a practice of code for everything. Even forget Islam now, even for the Australian in general, or even the European, Mr. French talking about equality of the man and the woman. Where is this equality? I never see a president French woman. I didn't see a president United States woman. I didn't see even Australian. This is first time it happened.
There are a few women in the French cabinet, I think. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Before we go any further,
what are they talking
all right,
about?
but Corey, just quickly.
Let's clear up a couple of things. The earliest reference to a facial veil was 4 centuries before Islam came about. It is a cultural thing designed to protect people's faces from the elements. The fact that the Sheikh omits to discuss or disclose whether it's a compulsion under Islam suggests that, you know, he's not being straight with us. Over 1.5 billion Muslims probably don't wear it, ever. So why all of a sudden are we making exceptions for our security and our cultural practices in this country for a tiny subset of people who are adhering to a fundamentalist, an extreme fundamentalist version of a religion?
Okay, Sibel, you...
No, it's not true. It's been around. And don't twist the matter about... Look,
it predates Islam by 4 centuries.
I don't allow you or anyone else to talk about our Islam with so much ignorance. If you want to talk about what you know properly.
What I know is what you were quoted on Lateline as saying, that Muslims weren't involved in the September 11 attacks. I know that. Now, do you still believe that?
All right, let's not go there. We're talking about... Okay, wait, everybody. Sibel, I'd like you... Excuse me, gentlemen. I'd like to ask this lady over here to take part. I'd like to ask this... Sheikh Omran, I would like to ask Sibel a question. Sibel, you're 28. You wear the niqab where we can see your eyes. When did you start to wear it and why?
Okay, basically I decided to wear it at the age of 17. And I'd just like to make it clear that this was prior to getting married. So there wasn't any husband or man involved in my life to help me decide. I chose to wear the niqab at the age of 17. Through my journey into Islam, learning about Islam, I decided that I wanted to take that extra step to cover my face. I do not believe that it is an obligation. I don't think it is compulsory. I think it is a choice. I have chosen to wear it. Just as though I chose to put it on, I will choose when I would like to take it off. I'm not going to have somebody tell me when to wear it and when not to wear it.
Okay,
despite the fact that my family was opposed and against me wearing the niqab, I still was adamant at that time, and I wasn't going to allow anybody to tell me what to do. So I was adamant, I was passionate about it, and I was going to do it, regardless of what family said.
You say it gives you freedom. What do you mean it gives you freedom? How does it give you freedom? Yeah.
What about in a court of law? You've got 2 cases now, one before in Western Australia.
Yeah, we're going to get on to security in a moment. I want to continue to talk to Sibel about her choice.
To just quickly answer your question, for court purposes, we can take it off. So that's just very quickly
Okay,
to...
we're
answer that
ranging
question.
across a whole range of them. Could we just wait a moment, Sheikh Omran, please, and let Sibel finish speaking? Let Sibel finish speaking.
Could I just also...
Sibel, I want to find out how it gives you freedom. I want to know what you mean when you say it gives you freedom.
Well, first of all, it gives me freedom because it is my choice to dress as I want to dress. I am not being dictated, or I'm not being forced or pressured to look a certain way to impress society or to impress certain people. I dress the way I decide and I choose to dress. So it gives me freedom in that sense that this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it. So that is my freedom. I want to do it and I'm going to do it regardless.
Okay, Jacques Miard, just very quickly, are you taking away freedom of choice here? You talk about liberty.
I would like to intervene in the... Yes, I would like to intervene in this question of free choice. We had a lot of Muslim women coming to the information mission saying to us that this is a false argument. Why? Because the family pressure, the brotherhood, the father, the husband, the social pressure in certain Muslim circles are very high, and those women are not free. It may be that one, let's say, out of 10 women will wear it, let's say, from their own choice. Then I will say something. How is it that this behavior is shocking us? Is the individual choice enough to, let's say, to permit such practice? If I want to go naked in the streets, I think I will be arrested and sent me back home. So there are certain common rules to abide in our country. That means you go free face, and this is our rule. So the question of free choice stops where the law begins.
Okay, I know a lot of people want to take this up. We have to go to a commercial break. I'll come back to you, Amina. And coming up, we'll talk more about the issue the gentleman over here raised, the burqa and security. That's next. Tonight we're talking about France banning the burqa, and I'm interested in how some other Australians who aren't Muslim feel about the idea of a ban on the burqa. Colin, what do you think?
Well, I think it really subjugates women totally and completely. Although I understand there's a couple of women here who, by choice, when they're older enough, 17, 18, 28, whatever it was, they chose to do that themselves. I completely understand it. That's a different thing. Or, of course, there are converts who choose to do that as well. But overall, you know there's girls at the age of 6 years of age, they're already having to put on the hijab. Definitely by the time they're 9 years of age, when they have their menses.
Okay, so do you want a ban? I'm just trying to
yes.
get to the centre of this issue. You do?
Yes.
You want a ban here in Australia?
Yes.
All right. Janine, what about you? What do you think?
I agree with Sibel. I think it's like a woman's choice what they do, and like it's a piece of clothing. If it's not offensive, why can't we wear it?
Okay. Corey Bernardi, you've been calling for a ban in Australia quite strongly. Why?
I believe it's a security issue, and also there's a cultural attachment to it. Firstly, we have already double standards operating in our society. If someone with a niqab or a burqa walks into a bank, they're not challenged. If they walk into a petrol station, they're not challenged. If people go in with a balaclava on, they are challenged, or a motorcycle helmet, they're challenged to reveal their identity.
But, well, this is interesting because we spoke to the Bankers Association about this, and they say the reason people are challenged about a helmet is that if they are committing an offence of some kind, they're more difficult for the police to overpower. They don't see a need to ban the burqa.
Well, the reason we have closed-circuit television cameras and we have a range of other facial identification things is so that we can identify people when they do commit crimes and when they commit problems. Right around the world, we're not seeing that many women actually who wear the burqa commit crimes. We're seeing men dress up in burqas and commit crimes, which is why in Jordan, they've reduced it, or they said they're not allowed to have it in public areas. I just believe that from a security perspective and in the interests of our community, we need to have the same expectations of identification available for all Australians.
Now, how much evidence do you have, though, that it's presenting a real problem in terms of security. You've described it as the preferred disguise for bandits and ne'er-do-wells. What's the evidence for that?
I said it's emerging as the preferred disguise of that, because in societies and communities where the facial veil is becoming acceptable, it is the easiest and the least alarming of disguises for people to wear. You can go to the UK and you can look at a myriad of robberies, same in the United States. You can go, as I said, to Jordan, where there's one crime committed by someone wearing a burqa or a facial veil every 4 days. You can look in Tunisia, you can look in Italy, you can look in France and Belgium, and you can look in Quebec, where they've all said this is a problem, a security problem. Australia has this wonderful opportunity where we've only had a couple of instances. One, a robbery in Sydney, and one where a policeman had an alarming range of claims, false claims made against him because he asked a lady to remove her veil.
All right. I want to pursue the security angle a little bit. Jacques Millard, was security a concern in France when you made this decision, or was the main thing behind the decision the other issues you've raised earlier?
Security is one element, but this is not the most important, because of course there was a debate to say we ban it in the public services, for instance, because we need to check who is coming. But I think it goes deeper. The fundamental question which is at stake is, what kind of society do we want? Do we want to live in ghettos, that means in separate communities, or do we live as a citizens in a free country? And as a citizens in a free country, we need to have equal footing between men and women. I will accept, the veil when men are going to carry it, to have it. So this is not the case. This is a statute of woman which is at stake, because behind the veil you have also many others problem, like, do those ladies want to shake hands with men? Do they want to in separate swimming pool? Do they want to go to mixed schools? Do they want to eat next to somebody who is eating pork? This is the principles which are at stake.
All right.
What kind of society do we want?
Okay, Tariq, what's your response
to
to
say
that?
something about this? Because
yeah. Yes, I'm keen to hear what you have to say.
Yes. Yes, look, I think that once again, these are false arguments, because the reality is that the new generations of Muslims, second, third and onward generations, in France and elsewhere in the West, they are more visible because they are not living in ghettos. So the point is for us to abide by some principles. And the principles in Australia as well as in France are that there are laws that we are respecting, and all the Muslims, the great majority of the Muslims are abiding by the law. And now the burqa or the niqab or anything which is covering the face, once again, I think that from within the Islamic communities, we need to have a discussion about this and to go through a pedagogical trend to get a better understanding of Islam. I don't think it's a prescription, but I understand that some women, as we have on your in your show, are saying, this is my choice. And I think that you have to respect this. This is the starting point. You abide by the law and you respect the free choice. And there is no one who can come in the secular state to tell the Muslims this is Islamic or not and this is cultural or not. This is for the Muslims to say it. So the one who is talking for the Muslims saying it's cultural, this is not of his business. It's something which is coming from within the community. Now we abide by the law, and then we try to get something which is, there is no imposition. You cannot impose onto someone the way he has or she has to dress or not to dress. And this is the starting point. The point here is that look at what Jacques Millard was saying. He starts with the headscarf, and then he go to the burqa, and then he speak about shaking hands, and then he speak about eating, and then he speak about anything which has to do with personal and private affairs. So in fact, from this, the problem that he has is the new presence of Muslims, and he's using the burqa to attack something else. So this is a pretext, and I think that this is very dangerous for pluralistic society and our future.
Okay, can I have a quick response from you to that, Jacques?
Very simple. First of all,
it's true,
the secular law is the one which is implemented in France. Secondly, if a priest is going to toll the bells at 4 o'clock in the morning, it will be forbidden to do it. If a Sikh doesn't want to have an
No one
helmet
is
when
asking
he's
this.
driving a motorcycle,
No one is asking
he will
this.
be forced to do it. So please, Tariq, don't
What are you
go,
talking about? No one is
on a
asking
false
this.
argument again. I'm sorry to say to you that this shocks the deep soul of all nations and Western nations in the world, and you cannot avoid it. This is not a question of personal choice.
No,
It's a
especially
question
in
of common
France. This is
standard,
something.
common
These
living
are
together.
discussions that are mainly in France.
Okay, I want to get back to the security question
No,
because that's
because
very
Belgium
much
has been banning
very much what's driving
well.
the debate
And you
here
know that
from
there
you,
is a
Corey
debate in
Bernardi, and I'm
England.
going to have to stop our guests over in Doha and France for a moment.